All right, here we are. Welcome to another episode of the Mystery Children.
What
I'm Travion.
We're number 12?
Yeah,
12.
12.
Number 12.
That's Trey. You're who?
Welcome Candy to the stage.
That's Steve.
Oh, this is Steve.
We're
Yeah.
back.
Hey.
Yeah, Trey was eager to get into this masturbation topic, so go ahead. I
was going to say that we were going to start off our festivities with only topics that Steve submitted.
Well, shit.
But I thought it was going to be crickets after that.
But but it's hilarious. So, I mean, it's obviously, I don't think it's real. I mean, why is that?
The photo is what makes it
hilarious, right? It says teen.
He has on
teen masturbates
baseball
40,
cleats.
Yeah.
Cleat glasses.
Yeah. Teen masturbates 46 times straight on Valentine's Day. Dies from heart attack.
so sad, man. It's hilarious, and then it's sad because
That's no way that's
it's
real.
46. How?
Come on.
You
now.
know why?
I couldn't get past after
It's
3.
fake.
It's just
That's
water.
Some bullshit. It's just
After 3, you're just secreting water.
or baby powder, right? That shit just like.
What's the time window we're talking? The entire day? 46 times? in
Well, I
one
guess
day?
you do have 24 hours, so maybe you took a few naps and then
Man,
you woke up.
that dick has been shredded, dude. There's just no fucking. It's fake.
Yeah.
It's 100% fake. And there's where they're carrying the body out. Pieces of the walls falling on the ground.
That's his body in the tarp, right? Look at that huge fucking black dude.
And why does it look like a bunch of thugs are carrying them out?
Look at,
They don't even not official people.
It's all 3 black dudes. This
Three
is
black
totally
dudes
fake.
in black hoodies, man. Come on.
It looks like they're more like they're stealing a corpse on a gurney.
Yeah,
more than they're taking a guy out.
It does.
And why is this brick wall shattered?
I don't know, dude. That's what I'm saying, dude.
That looks like more than what
That's what I'm
happened.
saying. It's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyways, hilarious.
If he died from a heart attack and he's how old?
What a way to go.
Teen. He's a teen.
It
He had
says
a
a
pre-existing condition. Sorry, it
Yeah,
ain't from the
if
masturbation.
that was
We're
real,
gonna
but that's
die
no
for that.
fucking way, dude. 46
And
times.
the person has Children's Hospital of Los Angeles
Yeah, just-
under their Instagram.
And there's 3 black dudes
Hashtag.
carrying it out. Come on, man.
Yeah, this is
It's
probably
at
fake.
this house, dude.
Yeah,
For sure it is.
That was a hilarious headline.
But anyways, so the next
And
thing
on
is
to real news.
It's real news.
teachers are moonlighting as Instagram influencers to make ends meet. So it's just saying like,
I don't get that.
yeah. So it says it's saying that they're going from making like $50,000 a year to $200,000 a year through Instagram. So I was like, well, what the fuck is that?
How
are they doing that, right? So it's like it's another app called Teacher to Teacher, I guess.
Sounds like a teacher hookup app.
Yeah.
Is it Tinder teachers?
But
Chemistry teacher looking for.
But it's weird because what they do is this one teacher in particular was saying how she goes home and she'll spend another 6 hours working on this, and I mean she's making bank. So
She's obviously not doing shit.
I was like,
in her
she's not
teaching
doing-
career.
Well,
I mean,
here-
she gave up on the teaching and just going for the Instagram.
well, she's
spending
says that
6
she's-
hours?
No.
Yeah.
She's a
She don't give a fuck about those kids.
Fuck about those kids. Go ahead.
Fuck those kids.
So
That's a direct quote.
so like after a full day of like work. Class, whatever.
Just fucking along.
33-year-old goes home and her second job begins. She pulls out her iPad and logs on Instagram where she has more than 90,000 followers.
Why would you
Well, what
continue to teach at that point?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. So
Why
basi-
wouldn't you? If you're not giving a shit and you're just showing
You said
up,
you're
just calling it in
you're
every
making
day?
$200,000 a year. Why would I continue to teach?
Why wouldn't you?
Well,
That's a
Because
steady job.
obviously,
you have benefits.
obviously,
you have a union.
But obviously, teaching isn't a love of hers if
Yeah,
she's
but
spending
not-
so
that's-
much other
well,
time.
that's a
The
lot of
thing
teachers, though.
it's not.
I just make the
She needs to
200,000.
be
Yeah, I know. Well-
a teacher to make this work, right?
Oh yeah, because it's teaching
Right.
related.
So it's called teachers pay teachers, right? That's what it's called. So basically, what it is,
Sex app.
she
Everything sounds like a sex. Teachers pay teachers.
teachers.
Teachers on teachers. Teachers in teachers.
Teachers, even that.
So it says it's an online platform that allows teachers to sell classroom resources they've created, such as worksheets and bulletin
my God.
boards.
People, there's Pinterest for that shit.
Right? So,
You really want to be a lazy ass and steal shit? Just
but
Pinterest.
man, she's making $200,000 a year doing this thing. So like they make cutesy things for your classroom.
So they're slanging
and they
slanging
show
lesson
it-
plans?
Yeah.
Basically,
Dude.
that's basically exactly right. They're
Like,
slanging lesson plans.
There's like a wheel with numbers on it. There's like colorful like posters that they've drawn, and they sell it. And then in the app, I guess, or whatever,
Wow, that's really smart.
They have like little
The
bubbles.
teachers buying this shit are lazy as a motherfucker.
Dude,
They're just like,
seriously, dude. You can't go to Michael's yourself and make that shit?
fuck that. I ain't making no goddamn class schematic. Buying that shit.
What is that? Is that a turkey? A hand turkey?
Yeah.
Here, I'll take all three of them. You know,
3 different colors.
it's good, great quality construction paper. I like that.
Oh my god.
Well, you know
So,
what?
yeah.
Shit. Speaking of kids, parents forget 5-year-old at German airport after holiday.
Forget.
That's some total Macaulay Culkin shit.
Sorry,
He was-
Kevin. That's when you know your parents don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
What would you feel
Listen,
like if
those
your
parents
parents?
were flustered? Those parents were flustered as fuck.
They must have hated
forgot-
that kid.
The fucking kid was sitting on a bench and he had chocolate all over his face, all fat, just
didn't
eating
spend
it, and they
time
just
with
left
that
his
kid.
ass.
Do you think these were really progressive parents and that kid was
No.
like a German Hitler youth?
What?
They were like, we really have to get rid of this kid.
No, do they?
He's got his goose walk down nice. We gotta leave this guy behind, dude.
No, that's sad, dude. Because you have one fucking. Wait, was that their only kid? Who were the other kids in that movie? Were those like cousins
Dude,
and shit?
Who
He's their
cares?
only kid,
He had
right?
no. Well, he was a kid, but he was one of what was it like 6 kids or something like that? Didn't he have a younger brother and then an older
Yeah.
brother
Yeah.
and an older
That's true,
sister?
that's true, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this was their only kid, and they didn't.
was
Like,
their only kid.
4 hours into the flight, like, holy
You know what? That's
shit.
not real. He's the youngest. The youngest always gets the best attention. That's classic right there. So they're gonna forget about Kevin? Not only is he cuter than his fucking older brother, he's like adorable, like smart. Like they're gonna forget about that.
I mean, he was adorable.
Wait, but
He's
these
pretty
parents got
rugged
on,
now.
His parents got on the plane.
Yeah, he looks like life hit him.
His parents got on the plane and didn't notice that the seat was empty.
It's pretty hilarious that we've
That's true, huh?
We've-
Like, wait a
we've
minute,
made
I feel
this-
like I left something behind.
we've made this into a review about the movie rather than the actual kid in the topic.
He's just not there.
Hey, we'll call when we get home. We'll call
Yeah.
the
That's
airport
what,
when we
at
get
what
home.
point do you realize we're missing something?
I got a lot of elbow room.
Where did
Where's that
she
kid?
realize it? She realized it on the plane, right?
Yeah.
His mother.
Yeah.
What we're speaking about. What about this 5-year-old who we're actually speaking about? Nobody gives a fuck about him.
Did he live?
Yeah, I think he's still alive.
Nah, he's cool.
Then you're like, all right, yeah.
He's living in the airport. Like
Left this dude in the
fucking,
airport. I wonder if he set some booby traps for some
All I know is
fucking
those parents
for
were,
TSA.
they were probably just dying to get away from that kid.
Exactly.
So, yep, left him there.
Because he was a little Nazi.
Whoops, in Bora Bora. Like, no,
Relax it, dude.
A little Nazi kid. They're trying to get away from that
Yeah,
kid.
That's how you force a family member who didn't want to babysit to just, hey man, can you take him for like a week?
And we left little Gustav. I don't know. What's the German name?
Nah, dude, where were they from though? Because he wasn't German himself, right?
It says the kid was German.
Oh, it's at German airport. That's true. I don't know if that means they're German or
They're from like Kentucky and they left his ass in Germany.
This is a German airport. I don't know. What would people from Kentucky
mean-
be doing in a German airport? On holiday.
on holiday. On holiday.
Who wouldn't want to be in Germany on holiday?
I'd like to be in Germany.
Hey, I don't know. They obviously weren't from Germany. Otherwise, it's just a local incident. Why the fuck would we care about it? You know?
Yeah, there's too many things.
Let's just keep it kids and grown-ups. Challenges of parenting including major self-improvement. Is that something that you submitted?
Holy shit. Okay, so the responsibility of like a real fucking parent versus like, I don't know, someone who's really not trying at all.
Who? Well, I was gonna
This
say
is-
who's not trying to parent. I was like, there's a lot.
The kid
There's
that
a
was,
lot of people.
kid that was
All the people
crying
we
at
just told us-
Walgreens.
Yeah, think of all those folks at Walgreens you were just telling us
Yeah.
about. Yeah, and the idea is that like, all right, you have a kid. How can you ever make sure that kid's going to be better than you if you during that kid's life you're not also transforming? You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's an interesting.
Well, setting
idea.
good examples, right? Never, not quitting, not complaining so much. Probably, I honestly have no room to talk because I don't fucking have a kid.
No, I get you.
So I imagine.
That's exactly right.
I imagine
what you're saying is true.
they reflect what you do,
And
sort
that's
of thing.
fucking hard. If you think about people at this, I'm 35 now. I'm like fairly cemented in who I am at this point. You know, I'm obviously going to continue to change, but think about most people who are just like
What
you
if
know
you're-
that's going to be that personality for that person for the rest of their fucking life.
What if
They're
you're-
only like 25.
What if you're
like,
totally different at 60? Like much more so than you thought you'd be.
At 60?
He's 60.
I might be. Who knows?
He's like a woman. He's like, what the
Caitlyn
fuck did I
Jenner,
get? What the fuck did I get here?
Did you?
You bastard! This whole time.
Just look in the mirror. I never thought I'd be here. Holy
Dude,
shit!
Imagine if I myself was like, I never thought of this.
never thought I'd have a vagina.
I am an ugly woman.
For real.
That's all I know. But yeah, no, I was just thinking like.
Is this coming from your reflection or just self-reflection and dealing with
I should have
Joopy
my own parenting corner for just a few minutes. Just so at every episode you can just hear what are the trials and tribulations of doing this.
What have been your most recent trials and tribulations?
Trying to make sure this little girl stays alive. She's like picking herself up on everything and standing, and then like reaching out with one arm and just standing there. Imagine this tiny little human, and she's got a bunch of hair, right? So she looks like a little man, just like with holding her hand in,
extra small.
Leaning against the wall and shit.
Where you see that shit in the middle of the night, you just see silhouette.
Hey baby. She's hey baby.
Against the wall, and she got a cigarette in the other
Hey
hand.
mama.
That's the crazy thing is I used to do it to my parents supposedly. Like I was like 6 or 5 and I would walk into their room and just like stand next to the bed and just babble.
Oh my god!
Imagine if your kid did you, dude. I might stab her.
Kill him.
Yeah, fuck that. That's demons possessed. So no, that was just. Anyways, that whole thing was.
You know what? It kind of sucks. Now that we're on the topic of kids and things of that nature. Amaya came over Saturday, which is my niece.
Yes.
She was not fucking with me at all.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Damn.
She was not.
She
fucking
loved her mommy though, huh?
Her mom was all good, but I believe it was because she was hungry. I guess her mom was saying that when she's hungry, she's not fucking with anybody.
No.
But I guess prior to our meeting, she'd had a meeting with my mom and her new boyfriend. Yeah. So my he looks Ving Rhames. That's funny. He looks Ving Rhames-ish.
Ving Rhames.
But
coveralls and
my sister and her husband met with my mother and her new boyfriend, and I guess it was gonna look very good for my mom to pick up her granddaughter and have a merry old time, but Amaya wasn't playing. She was like, "Fuck that."
Yeah,
just put me down.
I can tell you right now, dude. Babies have fucking personalities already. I know you saw that after one. I think within a week of me having Jupiter, I fucking posted on Facebook. This girl is impatient. And everyone's like, she's a baby. She can't be impatient. And then, like, now that she's older, my mom realized, she is so impatient. I was like, yeah. I'm telling you, when she's hungry, she's not fucking around, dude. It's like, that's when it's time to be fussy.
I'm hoping that's what it was.
She's being murdered. She's being dying.
That's exactly what Amaya was doing. I was trying to pick her up.
She's just hungry. She's just hungry. She was like, I'm like, hey, stop it. Stop.
Throw
I was
some
like,
of that.
wait.
Throw some of that crust at her from your sandwich, bro.
Wait, did she do the robot in your arms? Amaya was doing the fucking robot, like no, she's squirming out. No,
Joopy kicks and will like start swinging her arms. Yeah, like while she's drinking, she's like frantic about it.
She does Steve high on marijuana arms.
Dude, yeah, no, she was just. So anyways, the whole gist of my whole thing was that. Every day, I am openly trying to be better in the open while no one's around.
In what capacity? Like just much more compassionate toward toward her, toward the world.
Not like not say things outwardly.
Toward racism.
I try to curb the N-words. And that dude. No, I would never say that. But no, it's hard to rein in who you are. You know what I mean? Like the negative bits me, like when I'm driving on the road, like fucking asshole mother. Just like I hate traffic in LA just because I want to drive, not because I drive poorly, but I just want to go where I'm trying to go. So, anyways, I curb little things like that. Like
you just want to impart,
she's making you better.
As much positivity as you possibly can.
Forcing me to be better.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, I don't know how you guys are. I feel like you guys are probably really chill, but like outward in the world, I don't.
No, I'm
Your
not.
daughter is gonna have to see you. Like, how many people are you gonna challenge when you're out?
I don't have road rage at all. I've never
You're
had
trying to
road
set
rage.
a fight. UFC fights like
you're not gonna want
every
to fight
5
as much.
miles, dude. Yeah.
You're gonna be thinking about the baby, and you're gonna be seriously reining in what like your heart is telling you to do.
Yeah.
Because it's like I don't want to show that to your daughter that you're.
Well, it all comes down to what's that thing? The emotional intelligence now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm interested to see Steve in a disciplinarian position. I'm extremely interested.
I see it.
I feel like he's either going to be extreme soft pushover or ridiculously hardcore.
I guess that you're describing if I'm a
I think it's
boy
going to be.
or
I
a
don't think it's
girl.
going to be in the middle. I think it's going to be one
I'm
end.
firm with their like.
I get told all the time like, we have a kid. You can't be like. And I was like, dude, I'm not a maniac. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm gonna be okay. You know, but I think like when I am like showing people stuff like in jiu-jitsu to bring it back, but I try to put myself in their shoes, and not that I could put myself in like a 3-year-old shoes or baby shoes, but like I try to. I guess these sort of things are leave an impression on their subconscious, right? As they're small, so maybe they need to know what a good man is. Like if you have a daughter,
exactly,
and like that's the hard part about being a dad. I'm assuming just by observing, But I always ask myself that too, like because I'm very close to being in PJ's position, at some point, and I'm like, I can't just like get crazy and like frustrated. Not that I'm a out of control individual, but I show my frustration. I'm like, God damn it,
Seems like an extremely hard tightrope to walk.
You
can't fall on either side.
But, and plus,
if you're too hard, you're gonna fucking push them away forever. And if you're not hard enough, then,
you have to be firm, but you got to show them love. You gotta, at the end of the day, you got to love the fuck out of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like for me, it's just been me forever. Like I didn't have kids like early on or anything. So like I'm spoiled in me being allowed to just fucking swing my arms around the world the way I want.
Yeah.
But when you have to be responsible for somebody, then like you got to pull that in. I think it's even harder when you get older because you're not used to checking yourself.
Do you want to be friends with your child?
No, I don't at all. I want to.
You want to be totally a parent, or do you want to be a parent until they themselves are old enough to need you as a friend before they need you as a parent, or a listening ear at least?
In reading Rainbow sort of way, or after school special sort of way, like where like I want my kid to be like, I don't want to do that because I don't want my dad to be pissed at me, but two, I kind of have this feeling of I don't want to disappoint him. You got that tightrope, bro. You know what I mean? I want that tightrope where like. They're scared of me, but at the same time, though, if shit's going down with them, they can run to me, and I'll protect them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if the kids are only holding themselves up to their parents' standards, if those standards are low as fuck, then that's your kid.
Yeah, and it's really easy to be lazy, I'll bet.
Exactly. So it's like you're saying, it's a hard fucking tightrope.
But can you
really have to work at it? You have to work at it.
Can you really actually put them in a position to have higher standards than you yourself? How is that even possible?
I know, it's weird, right? It is because it's like,
because I'm my mother and I'm realizing that. And I think when you really start to check yourself, you might find more core things that you have in common with your parents than you don't. When you really start to check yourself, when I think about it at a core level, I'm like, holy shit, I'm my fucking mom, and I've totally run away from that my whole life.
But when you recognize that, that's when you say, okay, here's how I'm going to change these sort of things.
Because there are good things from my parents and there are fucked up things from my parents.
They're humans, right?
And that's the saddest thing I think about growing up is that when it's kind of not in a good way, you're like, they're just humans.
Exactly. When you find out your parents are just
you learn
human,
that as you get older.
People in the world.
Yeah, and they tried their best with what they were where they were at the time of life. Yeah. But for sure. Like there's things where I'm like, oh shit. I was like, you know what? I don't want that. So like I check it quick.
Yeah.
And me, I'm barely getting to know my dad. So like I have no idea what parts of him were similar. Like at all. So,
but you might not have anything because you weren't raised with him. I mean, I have the traits from my mother that I was raised around. Like I'll notice she might deal with certain issues in a household.
Yeah.
That in a way that I would deal with them. Even like physical contact.
Oh, okay.
I'm down for physical contact, but it's not something that drives me. And that's because when I was raised, it was more about what was done. We had to go, okay, well, I understand that I associate love with things that are done in to cement love, to say this is, I love you because I've done X, Y, and Z. I'm not necessarily conditioned to view love as a physical act of closeness or comfort or physical comfort,
Well, that's where this will come in, that's where like a woman comes in. Not necessarily like a woman, but like a person, whatever, will come in. Like, for instance, I'm the one that's more like lovey-dovey in our relationship. Right?
Same. It's a tragic life.
And I'm like, why am I holding your purse? You know what I mean? Like, why am I the one with the purse? You know what I mean? Like, you got the pants on, I feel that way sometimes, and that's just like because of social conditioning.
Of course, yeah. It's just.
And I'm like, why am I the bitch? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm just being blunt, and it's like, oh shit. And then I tell her like, hey, like, it's cool. I go, you're not the affectionate type. Like, you like to be like on your side, and you like to stay there. And what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Like,
I've been in relationships where women are like, well, you don't seem as openly affectionate.
But here's the thing, though. It's good to kind of like start pulling yourself into the other person's world, because what will happen is I can do that with like, besides having sex with the dude. Like, it's my roommate.
Wait, what?
Goddamn
What'd
roommate. You know what I mean? I'm saying, like, if I had right, I'm saying, like, I can have a...
Better rephrase that, brother. No, I'm saying.
I can have a...
actually, whatever floats your boat, Steve.
Besides having sex
It's a new world.
It's a new world.
This is a new world, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with two dudes having sex with each other.
Yeah, that came out weird. So, but I'm saying, besides having like a roommate, meaning like all my roommates have always been guys, right?
Yeah.
So I could have a guy roommate. Obviously, I'm not going to be intimate like that, but like having a person in the same room just makes you guys fucking roommates.
Yes.
You know what I mean? What separates you from that? Like, I'm not saying like when we're out and about, I don't expect to hold hands. I don't expect any of that lovey-dovey shit. But I'm watching TV and I want you to fucking come over here and like be by me. I want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because otherwise, like, why are you going to be over there and I'm going to be over here and then we're going to high five and go to bed? Like, it's fucking weird.
You know what? I've noticed that I've lived by the rule. Fonte had there was a song where he had a lyric.
MC Fonte?
Yeah, the MC Fonte. He has a lyric in one of his songs where he says, I want a woman to want me when I want her.
Right.
But to basically just kind of be off when I don't want her.
Right.
That's,
which is
and so some men, even Patrice O'Neal speaks about it, where he was saying, I don't want a woman around me at all times.
Right.
He said, I want a woman who's like hiding behind a corner, like right here. and as soon as I want her to show up, she peeks her head around the door and she goes, hey, how you doing? And I know that's like a real shitty way to feel, but for me, I think it comes from the same energy that you felt before you got with Ruth, which is you develop a self-sufficiency.
Right.
And it becomes all about, I have to take care of myself because I'm not in a situation where somebody else can take care of me. I have to be responsible for everything that encompasses my happiness.
Right.
When you cement that kind of way of living, it's hard for you to allow people in to fill those gaps, to fill those affection things. Because for me, I'm the source of my affection. I'm the source of my happiness. I'm the chief source of all of these things. And if I fuck up, I'm fucked up,
Yeah.
But you also have to allow women in and to have them have a part in your happiness, in your life, in your decision making, and all of these things for them to feel like they have a viable place in a relationship.
Right, it's a partnership.
And sometimes it scares me that I'm this comfortable with making myself happy, because I don't want to finally reach the situation of happiness in a future relationship, and I can't fully take advantage of it because I'm so plugged up from my time outside of a relationship.
I'll tell you though, it's like when Ruth and I first started dating, she was like she had to pry things out of me because I was so used to being like on my own, like 7 years, man. I was just like, I'm having a good time. I'm just dating. Don't plan on getting a girlfriend, like at all or anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
And then when we started dating, she's like, I really had to like pry things out of you. And I was like, it's weird. I just felt like my emotions were like locked up.
Yeah.
And little by little, they just started to surface, you know, and I wasn't used to it. You know, I was like, I'm not used to this at all. It's foreign to me, you know. So, and then it felt good, though, to be like, okay, this is cool. I'm all right with this, you know, like.
Someone who's totally down for you and you're just completely yourself is like amazing.
Yeah.
'Cause
I've never experienced that. I hope I get the chance to at some point.
I hope you do too. I hope you do. And by the way, when I was speaking about affectionate, stay affectionate when you have your kid.
Yeah.
Like, just like shower them, boy or girl, whatever. Shower them with affection because like that's gonna make someone like you or I who also like expressing affection. And for me, like I was blessed to have both my parents, and you know they should have divorced a long time ago, but they stayed together forever, which is great. But the affection part is what I like the most about myself in the relationship because I'm totally comfortable being like affectionate,
right?
Like you know, hugging her while we're out and stuff, making her all
and that comes from the parent. It comes from the parental structure.
Yeah, man.
Like
it's
my mom and we didn't.
You too.
We weren't huggers.
Like, you should be a hugger. We
weren't huggers at all. It was about what we did. It was always about you see what I did for you, right? And I learned to develop that type of way of looking at love. For me, it's less about how you overtly touch me or don't touch me. I'm not prone to the hand holding and things of that nature. But if you're there for me when I'm going through something, and you're there, or if you buy me a pack of draws, something as simple as that, I perceive that like that's my love language. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but people have different love languages that they've built over you know their experiences as human beings. To kind of you fall into categories and stuff like that. Some people like physical touch. And that's their love language, and that's the only way they can really perceive overt senses of love. Right. And then there are some people who fall into like jewelry and things of that nature. So it's more a materialistic situation. And then there are other people who it's just about like instances, like little periods of happenings, you know, that, oh, you did this for me, or we went here, or I remember this situation where you were here for me, and then those become your love language.
I would say that like a good balance would be a piece of all three of those examples. You know, like every once in a while it's good to curl up and watch a movie. Hey, it's good to go out and get your girl flowers sometimes. Like, you know, like I'm trying to be better at that, you know, because like I feel like even I slack on like romantic things, and I used to be
like, really good at that shit.
I'm good at it. I put in the work. No, I'm not even gonna lie, I do. I was just gonna say flowers is beautiful if that's your love language, right? Because and you know Sarah wants flowers every once in a while too. But what I do is I built her a fucking like a garden in the backyard, like a stacked up garden. I painted all this shit nice, and I you know got all the succulents planted into the pots and got them all nice and that. So that was like my love language. Her like, look what I'm offering you. You know?
Now love me. Yeah. You know, and for me, I would say that I express myself more through humor.
Yeah.
And
same,
humor and I try to take notes in the sense to where like I could be better here. And I'm like, okay, well, what can I do? You know what I mean? Like building her a garden.
See, largely,
you know like that.
You're a protector, just given the situations that you've spoken to us about. Even the Kingston situation, where you were able to fund or facilitate, you know, Kingston being able to be, you know, in a medical situation. Yeah, that's more akin to how I view love, which is there for the partner in every situation they would need you to be present in. You know,
and for me, I thought like that was like maybe in my mind enough, but then as time goes on, I found out it's not.
Never enough.
It's not enough.
It's never enough.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. So like every once in a while, I don't drive. I take the train, right? So she gets the car.
Yeah, we noticed.
She, you know, so like for me.
I remember when Steve said he was getting a car. I was so excited.
He's like, I never have the car.
So like she has the car, and so I walk like a mile down to Home Depot.
Yeah.
and I'll get her like succulents. We have a bunch of like plants now.
That's dope. Yeah.
Walk all the way back, like which is like a 2 mile walk. With like one time I was like with the Christmas tree. Same thing, like, dude.
Christmas tree around.
I started to, and then some guys were like, "Hey, you want to pay me $10 and I'll take it to your house?" I'm like, "Yes," But yeah, man. So like, and then I found out, someone was like, "Hey, maybe." Like one of her friends is like, "Hey, maybe get her some flowers sometime, surprise her with something, or do this." And I do make clothing. I could make her a dress, and I did make her a dress one time.
Yeah.
And I could do that again. Like, I think that would be...
What'd she think about the dress?
She loved it, but, like...
You should make her a super sexy dress that, like, when she puts it on, she's like, really? It's like barely covering her.
Yeah, I'm like, you like it, right?
I mean, it looks good, though, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah, and so, for me, it's weird. I feel like I'm in a weird spot in my life right now, too. Like, we were talking about work, and we were talking about these other things, and now we're on this relationship thing. Like, I for sure am trying to be a better me, and it's painful because I have to have accountability, and I have to see where my shortcomings are and say that's no one's fault but mine.
Yeah,
and really mean it though. Like I could say it all day, but like really mean it and be like, and take that burn. Like fuck, man, I'm slipping.
Yeah, it is hard.
I'm like, oh man, like okay, am I really being the best I could be for this person? Because if I'm not, then I'm really just holding her hostage. You know what I mean? Like I'm keeping her on the line.
You should be the best that you possibly can for you. I believe you have extremely high standards. So I believe once you hit your barometer, you'll probably fucking be blowing everybody else's barometer out of the park. If you're the best that you can for you, you'll be infinitely enough for Ruth.
And I feel like, and I think you're exactly right, man, because like I can't be good for someone else if I'm not good for myself yet, right? And I feel like it's 100% true. So I've been on like this unspoken mission, where I'm trying to do these things. I'm trying to create new habits, break old ones. I feel like it's time. I'm shedding. I want to get out of the skin. Blah blah blah. And like
also, you gotta crawl a little bit. I know Steve is a fucking phoenix. Steve wants to fly everywhere. Steve wants to fly everywhere. Like he's like, okay, well I'm here, but I want to be on fucking Pluto tomorrow. Yeah. Actually, I want to be on Pluto in 7 minutes. Yeah. So it's something that I'm learning as well, as to take these baby steps. I mean, that's something you always push me to like read or consume like more like self-help or self-motivational materials, and that's something that it seems like is a thread that weaves through all of these materials that you drive me toward. Is stop worrying about being on Pluto. Like, let's worry about stepping out of the house first. We step out the house, and then maybe we jog to the market, and then we jog from the fucking market to maybe a track, and then we do a couple of laps around the track, and then we build up our tolerance, and then maybe we do 5K.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, and that's one thing. I'm impatient. What?
Right. I was saying, let's do it.
You know what?
Do a 5K.
No, let's do the 5K. You know what? They had the Cyclovia on Sunday.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
And I was like, dude, that'd be cool to do.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah. That'd be dope.
It's like 8 miles or something like that. It's like from here to
all
to
throw
Hollywood
up together
Bowl.
at the end.
But you'll see people you see people on just chilling on bikes. There's like little concerts along the way. There's little stopping stations. You can stop and eat and just keep going.
I want to do American Ninja Warrior.
Dame
to
Funk,
be honest, still.
Dame
American Ninja Warrior.
Oh yeah.
I would love for us to all three try out for that shit.
My fat ass ain't getting on it.
Get the fuck out of here.
You see the guys who do that?
You might be the best. What if he's the best? Oh, he's the best we've ever seen. Watch out. He's amazing, folks.
You just see like this fucking Daniel Cormier body.
Sometimes there's walk-ons and they're amazing and they become staples,
Dude. Yeah, man. It'd be cool to do something like that because was it Dame Funk was performing too.
on a fucking bike.
Yeah.
Was it?
In the back.
Yeah, he was at one of the stops.
That's
He was,
crazy.
On motor bikes, he's just fucking DJing in the back.
Should we move fast? Should we? Should
yeah. Well,
Let's keep it live.
Yeah, let's
with,
keep.
So how about that tsunami?
I was gonna go with Lindsay Lohan, but okay.
Oh, dude, no, that's hilarious. Like,
I don't. Well,
more celebrities-
okay.
Did you
When
see
sent
that?
over,
Punched
I
in
didn't
the
see
face.
it though, but I saw
More
what you.
celebrities need to get punched in the face.
Well,
for sure.
you explain.
So
it.
yeah. So what happened?
Oh shit! You put it up, but I this from what I understand is like she tried to jack some Latino families.
I believe she was drunk.
She's okay. Maybe
It wasn't even Latino. They were.
Big surprise.
I didn't see the video.
The family was, oh God, it might have been
Oh, no, they were
Middle
Syrian.
Eastern.
They were Syrian. I'm sorry. They were
Syrian. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Is that considered, that's Middle Eastern, right?
I don't know,
believe
the brown
Okay.
of some
I just
sort.
want to be specific about it. Yeah,
It was
they were actually
a Middle Eastern family, and for whatever reason, Lindsay Lohan got it in her head that the family was trafficking their children. So she was she was following the family around,
How crazy
and she was only
Creepy as
speaking.
fuck.
She was only speaking to the children, and she was trying to get them to tip her off that they were being sexually trafficked or something along those
weirdo,
lines.
right?
And she kept badgering the family. I'm talking like not. She would.
Imagine how that family felt.
She would speak to the family. This family would walk away from her. They would sit somewhere else. She would speak to the kids. The family would get up and walk away. Then she would
that
follow
people are walking away
them.
from Lindsay Lohan. They're like, ma'am, can you please just leave us alone?
And look, I know you're Lindsay Lohan. You were fucking dope in Mean Girls, but I'm gonna fucking punch
yeah.
you in the face.
I don't believe they knew who she was at all.
Probably not.
So finally, the mother turned around and was like, "Fuck that!" She just smacked the shit out of Lindsay Lohan. Smacked
her, or
fire from Lindsay Lohan.
Did she smack her or did she punch her?
She punched her. I'm gonna say smack.
She punched her.
Smack seems a little bit more emasculating, even though she's not a man. But you know.
Well, okay. So isn't there a thing where there's
Good.
hand signals or something, or like you draw something in your hand if you need help or something like that? What tipped her off? Was she just eating a fucking snow cone and she looked over? She's like, "Those kids need help."
You know
Like,
what tipped her off? Alcohol.
Yeah,
Alcohol
you're right.
tipped her off.
Hey, Lindsay,
Hey,
those
Lindsay.
kids, they look like they're in trouble.
Alcohol. Hey, you need to intervene, Lindsay. You need to intervene.
You, Lindsay Lohan.
Have more of me and intervene, please.
Yeah, think of the headlines you'll make. You'll be a star tomorrow again.
She
Save those kids, Lindsay.
she punched the shit out of
Parent
Lindsay.
Trap 2.
She punched the fuck out of Lindsay.
Oh.
Her Instagram, her little post or the vid post finished with her holding her face, crying. I was like,
Oh,
hey,
man,
that's
I
what
gotta
you get,
see
man.
this.
You can't assume shit. Assume makes an ass out of you and me.
Damn, dude, that's hilarious. I like it.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down
All
with
right, next motherfucking topic.
She got punched for the right reasons. You said the reading each other's minds may soon
You know
be
what?
possible.
Let's skip that because I didn't read.
One thing I'll say is
I didn't read up on that.
I've been with Sarah so fucking long. Sometimes we can, I don't know if it's habit or mind reading.
You already
but
know.
It's a little of both.
Yeah,
it's-
you know.
We can read each other's mind. I'm like, what restaurant am I thinking about right now? She'll know exactly what restaurant I'm thinking about.
You know what I love about
Or vice versa. I'm like, oh, you know what that makes me think about? And I'm like, and
She's like
she knows.
sex.
It was always
She's like
it was
me
always-
too.
Get out of my head.
The
Yeah. That just comes with the territory, man.
Yeah, no. for
Good
sure.
and bad.
tsunami, that shit was
Oh
insane.
man.
You know what's
oh
Damn.
Well,
This is the first video footage I've seen where I was like, that shit looks like
Is it the one where they're in the parking garage?
when you see movies, that shit looks
yeah.
like holy
Yeah, yeah.
shit.
Oh yeah.
No, here's the thing. When the first reports came in, Sarah was saying, "Oh my God, there was a tsunami in Indonesia."
Mm-hmm.
Anytime Indonesia, she thinks about me because my grandmother was born in Indonesia. But but I'm like, they live in the Ring of Fire. What do they expect? Anyways, she was like, "Oh, only it's like 128 people are dead." I was like,
It's way up now.
"That's a preliminary report." I was like, "I bet you."
It's like 400.
I said usually.
last time I checked.
And that's the second
800,
tsunami of that
800.
magnitude.
Damn,
It's
that
over 800
doubled
now.
since the last time.
800.
That's what I told her. I
Holy
said, usually
sh-
1,000 people or more die when they have a tsunami. Over
That's
there.
the second tsunami of that magnitude in what, like the last 5 years?
Yeah,
for
dude,
them?
that thing
in the
was
last 3?
terrible.
Has it been 3 or
7.4 earthquake, wasn't it?
That's
Out in the
really,
ocean.
really,
Dude, he
really
hates Indonesia. God hates Indonesia.
Damn, dude. I'm not. Yeah.
I'm telling
Yeah, they
you,
just
you live in
had
the Ring
one
of
like
Fire,
3 or
that's what
4
happens,
years
dude.
ago.
Dude, Japan is in it too. Like they have all this fucking, they have constantly
All this
erupting
seismic
volcanoes.
activity, always happening.
Yeah.
Damn. But what video did you see? What video?
I seen it was just a wave breaching inland, and it looked tough. Dude.
Like
it looked really bad.
It's
bro.
funny because it was like as if they're in like a parking structure or another building right when they were filming it. Is that the one?
No, not the
So
one.
the one I
It
saw
might
was
have
like
been. I just saw like for the like as far as you could see, it was all water.
Oh,
and there was
okay, I
like,
didn't
and
see
there,
that,
there was buildings peeking out of the water.
Yeah, I didn't
but
see
if
that
the water was coming in, and you could see nothing but water out in the distance, I was like, wow, that's
well,
rough.
the one, it might be the same one, but the one I saw was like it hadn't hit land yet. And you see this fucking wave, and I was like, okay, what's happening? Because I didn't know yet, and I was like, and then I was like, oh, that wave's pretty big. Oh, that wave's not stopping. Oh, goodbye houses. Oh, why is everybody running? Oh my god. I was like, tsunami. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, do they get warning?
Fast.
Do they get no warning in there?
I feel like they kind of did because there was a lot of people up, but you were not. Me?
How much of a warning would you even need? Yeah, how much of a warning would you need? I'd need like at least 45 minutes.
Right? At least.
I'd need 45.
Warning to get to the nearest top of something.
Well, think about it. Like tsunami starts out. What they said it's like the wave will be like a foot high, but it's over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then it grows as it gets closer to land. And next thing you know, it's like a 100-foot wall of water. And it for sure was because that shit was way taller than the houses that took out.
As soon as I see that shelf,
out.
I'm off. I'm
Hey, how about
dipping,
this?
son.
How about you're swimming in the water and then like the sea just pulls back like 100 yards?
Oh, you're done. If you're in the water when that happens, it's a wrap.
That's a
it's
rough way
over.
to die. Because
Yeah.
you're just floundering and drowning, and who knows what's in the water that's coming at you.
Yeah, who knows, dude?
I hope I like land on a beach chair or some shit. Impaled by beach chair so I don't have to worry about.
Dude, the breakneck speeds that will be happening in that thing. Even if you have a snorkel, you're getting snapped in half.
you're
Or
getting
like,
broken up.
scuba gear or anything
You're
like that.
getting slammed into a house at 100 miles an hour.
For sure.
Oh.
God.
Well, at least it breaks your body all up so you don't feel it.
What if you did a pillow factory at 100 miles? It still hurts.
Fuck, man. But that's crazy, man. A lot
Impaled
of
by the
shit.
fucking little feathers.
Yeah, because what China was shit. Was it Hong Kong got hit?
Yeah, everything.
Everything. I mean, like with these crazy storms.
But dude, the sad thing about Indonesia is like they have no money there to build the infrastructure needed to survive.
I mean,
in that area.
All they have is coffee export.
That's it. What are they going to build? They're not going to be like the Dutch and build these like beautiful levees and all that. They don't have the money for it. That's
And these
fucked
fucking
up.
tsunamis are just
They're no joke,
crushing
dude.
their fucking environment.
If they want to survive on that island, they need to build something like that.
Figure something out.
Figure long term, right?
Got to build a wall.
Build a wall.
I think we know the man who can do it. So the other thing that I came across was the graduates of SpaceX, NASA, and Stanford are building an internet in space. Now, why you'd need internet in outer space, I have no idea. But
They need their own.
Yeah, I was like, they need a separate internet.
yeah,
It only streams Pornhub.
Yep.
just in case you're out there in outer space, you'll at least have internet. No, maybe it's gonna be the free internet. You know, I know that
we're not on the free internet right now.
free internet right now.
No, we're not on free internet. We still pay
I still pay-
ATT or
Pay a lot.
I don't know.
for fucking internet. Dude.
Time
It's like-
Warner.
It should. They
So
think
it's not
that
free.
It should be like part of a utility.
It should
bill.
be free. I don't know why it isn't.
Yeah, because they want to bank on that shit,
I don't
man.
know enough to speak on that, to be honest.
But the thing is, I think even Elon Musk was saying that at one point he wanted to make something to where like
Oh shit, Elon Musk. We
some
definitely need to speak
fucking
about
some
that.
internet action for everybody. But who knows? Who knows how long that will last or if that even goes through. But yeah, Elon Musk, that dude got bit in the ass, huh?
He sure did.
Fuck.
Yeah, PJ.
Dude,
PJ couldn't have known.
holy shit.
I mean, it doesn't make him a scumbag or anything.
No, he's not a scumbag.
But I mean, the whole thing was that
It was a joke. I didn't know it was a joke.
also
I didn't even get the 420 correlation. It was a weed joke.
But also the one of the main things was him saying that he might go back to a private sector again as opposed to being public and having people stock publicly traded. And they feel like when you did that,
He influenced it.
you influenced the stock the price
Well,
of
yeah,
your
because
stock, right?
people
So then-
sell that stock. They're like, oh, fine.
Yeah, so then he got fined. What it was like 30? Was it 30,000? No, more than that, right?
No, it was like
No, the fine was
30
like
mil.
2 million, wasn't it? Or 20 million. 20
20 million.
Yeah.
And then there's an additional 20 million that goes toward the restitution for the stockholders who were impacted by
They banked.
that tweet. A tweet cost him $40 million.
I guess you'll learn your lesson.
And as PJ pointed out, how crazy is it that he has $40 million to just give and be like, I fucked up.
Well, and the crazy
It's tough,
thing,
man.
The crazy thing is too how he wasn't going to be able to be a CEO ever again. But then like he did the plea deal or whatever, and now he's still at least able to be a CEO.
But he's not head of the chair.
Right. Yeah. But if he goes private, he doesn't fucking need to be a CEO. He's just the owner.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be like, fuck off. But I don't know if that's...
See, I don't think he's not going...
He
never planned on going private.
Right.
This was all a joke. The idea of the tweet, or the basic gist of the tweet, was that he was thinking about taking the company back private, and he had already secured $420 million to make that a possibility. But the 420 was a weed joke. It was to his girl.
Right.
So he was joking, probably high.
Yeah, for sure high.
and joking.
And drinking some delicious whiskey.
That tweet cost him a lot of, just
delicious
a lot of shit.
For Elon Musk, didn't you have delicious food all the time?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. That sucks, man. But he'll be fine in the long run.
For sure he'll be fine.
And you know what? He's still got I would say, a really positive impact on the earth.
Mm-hmm. He should go private, though, I believe.
Hey, tell us about Kanye, man.
Oh, yeah, what's happening to this guy?
You know what? I'm starting not to love him so much.
Yeah. He's a fucking
I'm starting
asshole,
not to... He's fucking off his rocker, loony.
Yeah, I don't
off his fucking
on top of him
rocker,
being an asshole,
loony.
bro.
It is...
Dude,
I'm like, wow, you really crazy.
You're legitimate crazy.
But this all comes from he's been wearing the MAGA hat. He recently showed up to he did the Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
So he was on Saturday Night Live, where he prominently displayed the MAGA hat. He has been making his rounds in the media, prominently displaying the MAGA hat, and he recently had a interview with Harvey Levin, where he explained his reasoning behind his donning of the MAGA hat, and he felt that it didn't align him with the ideals and the political rhetoric that were being put out there by Trump. But he felt that people should have a little bit more compassion toward Trump, because he's just a human being just like all of us, and all humans should choose love. All of this shit. Harvey Levin and a lot of other media personalities just have brought up something that he doesn't seem to understand, is that even though you might have these like lofty, beautiful, compassionate ideas as to why you may be wearing something like the MAGA hat, when it comes down to it, you're still donning a symbol of all of these negative things that are attached to that, to that hat, to that "Make America Great Again," to even though that phrasing, So this is what people are trying to say to him. You can get across these ideas of like love and compassion for your fellow man without using a symbol which is attached to negativity to get that point across, because Trump doesn't seem like a great guy at all. No. I'm saying seem. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Like he's not a great guy at all, And let's put aside black folks, whether he cares or doesn't care about black folks. We know for a fact he doesn't give a shit about the Hispanic community, And if you have any reverence at all for them, you wouldn't wear that shit at all. Like I feel like him wearing that shit is like, fuck everybody who's a fan of mine who is Latino, or who is Hispanic. Fuck them, because we know for a fact Trump doesn't give a fuck about them. And you're wearing that shit like it's just a fashion statement,
It's not cool.
Yeah.
He thinks it's cool, but it's not.
The quote that he made to Harvey Levin while in the interview is that I'm wearing this MAGA hat because
Did he say I'm
punk? Because I'm punk and I wear what I want. And then he followed that.
That's not what even a punk is. That's not what punk was or what it ever stood for. Doing something like that, they would have never wore like a endorsed Reagan shirt or something like that. Punk was all about exposing politicians.
They're extremely smart. You taught me that.
Yeah, and totally, telling the truth about governments and how they rule their people and all the sneaky shit they do.
But I think that's the problem that a lot of people have with personalities like Kanye who aren't as well informed as they like to believe they are.
Yeah.
You know, as you said, he's only looking at it from the side that he wants to see it from, the side that makes him look cutting edge and edgy. Oh, I'm punk. I can do what I want. And as you said, that's not the core tenets of punk. It's not just about doing what the fuck you want. There are other things that are attached to it, you know?
Yeah. Dad, yeah, Kanye's a trip, man. And did he say you texted that he said he's a god?
Yeah, he's like I can do what I want. I am a god, and I get where he's coming from about that.
I am a god.
Well, remember we said that he brought up
gods in ourselves.
Well, he brought up a great idea when he first started his career, which is if nobody had a problem, ever has a problem when a black man calls himself a nigga or a boy or that dude.
Yeah.
But as soon as they say, well, God, then it's a huge problem. And he's saying that we probably should rethink our ideas about those types of things. It shouldn't be okay for anybody to call themselves a derogatory term and not be commonplace. But when they elevate themselves way above, those type of conventions, and you go, nah, you can't do that.
I don't think anyone should be going around calling themselves.
I don't think so. But I guess why not? I don't necessarily even believe in a god.
So to me, what you're saying is not. You might as well say you're a bird.
You're a bird.
I'm like, okay.
But I know Steve. Let's not. I know Steve believes in God.
Do you believe there's a god?
I think Steve's starting to back away from a bit.
Man, things were weird because I do believe in something. I don't. Look, I think to say that there's a God and then this is what he wants and this is what's supposed to happen is just a part of the human ego, and we turned our interpretation for just sanity into something so that we can kind of get a handle on our purpose in life, and then also then be like, oh, and then by the way, this is what he wants. So there's some human agenda in there too, as well.
Do you think it comes from ego or fear, though?
It's both. So it's going to be ego, fear, control, all that, and then I feel like then we got this thing, right? But I think that
I've just always felt that the religion in general, or the idea that there is an omnipotent being, comes from fear. Because what would be the opposite end of that is that nobody knows any fucking thing.
Well,
and that's scary as
so let's
shit.
say that you want to control a people, right? Then you use that fear, right, to control them, but also it's going to be like faith can also get people through the day, so sure. That helps also, but I do believe that there's something, because this is a thing, just like say I'm sitting on a rock and I'm just observing things that happen in my life, right? And I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, either we're in a goddamn simulation, like I said before, or
what a weird simulation to have to even to have religion in a simulation,
right?
So
no, but it would make sense though.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because then you're not questioning the simulation, right?
Imagine if you're running that simulation, you're like, let's fuck with these people a little bit.
If there's actually a being outside of this that has put this into perfect organization, and hell yeah, they would do things like that. They would be so beyond our level of thinking that they would know exactly how to install little things. Let's put this here and put this here and watch what happens.
Right. I mean, like they talked about before, every time they come out with a new technology that gets us closer and closer to something that seems real, right? We could, immerse ourselves with that. But the thing is this, though. My story of where I always question just existence or whatever. One story out of many would be when I hurt my knee and I couldn't walk for 3 months and I was limping around, and I had to limp around because I fucking have a car.
You looked back in the sand.
And there was only one set of footprints. Yo, how the fuck you know about that? That's black folk shit.
Of course, dude.
Like I had one of those posters in my.
What do you want?
I had one of those posters in my room when I was growing up.
I love when I walk into.
He carried me. Jesus carried me.
No. But I love when I walk into someone's home and you're like, there's probably gonna be a white Jesus in there with blue eyes, and you walk into a black person's home and there's a black Jesus.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, I love that. It's so good, right? So it could be more of a symbol than anything, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the thing is, this is that like so. Anyways, but
black people needed Jesus. Without Jesus and God, no, I don't. I mean that in the way that we went through slavery, we went through the most fucked up shit.
But that's where we get like voodoo and things like that. I know it sounds weird to say that, but
that
like,
predates
Christianity.
Well, at least Christianity as it was imparted onto slaves, right?
Well, yes, but when the slaves came here and they tried to force Christianity onto the slaves, like voodoo's so like versatile, right? So they used like the statues of the saints as like their own gods, right? Like Gay Day and all that.
Like
oh, so it was it was incorporated.
It was incorporated. Okay. So they were really doing their beliefs right in front of the people
under the guise of Christianity.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so I was walking to the bus stop, and then this guy's like, "Hey man, hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Hey, we got free tacos over there. If you want." And I was like, I'm good. He's like, "Oh man, we're just having like a prayer service over there in the parking lot, blah blah blah. And if you want to go over there." And I was like, actually, I got to get home, but thank you. And I started walking away. He goes, "Hey, what's wrong with your knee?" So my knee has been, at the time was messed up. I couldn't walk normal for
Steve,
3
months. Did he fuck you and your knee got better?
Huh?
Did he fuck you and your knee got better?
He made sweet love to my knee.
Yeah.
No, but so someone did a double leg and they locked they did a leg weave, and one leg stayed up while the rest of me went down, and that shit fucking, it hurt, man. It was one of the worst pains I've ever felt, right? So I couldn't walk for like.
Did you tear something in your knee?
Huh?
In your knee?
My knee's 100 right now. It's good.
Okay.
So check this out though. So I was walking to the bus stop and blah blah blah, and then he's like, "Hey, what happened? What's wrong with your leg?" I was like, "Well, I heard it. Someone landed on it. I just didn't want to explain everything." He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I pray for it?" I was like, "You want to pray for my knee?" He's like,
dude, go for
"Yeah." I was like, "We're on the corner of this busy street, right?"
Okay,
and
man,
I'm like,
"Got a second? Can you pray for my sandwich too?"
I mean, you make it bigger. I wanted. So I was like, "Oh, all right, man." And then in the meantime, so he gets on his knees and he gets on his knees.
Hey, keep going.
Yeah.
You better let's get the next sentence out.
And he starts he puts his hands by my knee and he starts praying.
This is getting wild, y'all.
Go ahead.
And he starts praying.
He touched your knee?
No, he didn't even. But
Did he touch your upper thigh? Like, did he get the upper thigh at all?
Yeah, he's like, "I'm just checking for change." No,
He was like,
So no, but he, was praying and he has hands over by my knee, and this other guy comes over. He's like, "Oh man, so what happened?" Well, I was
"Can I pray to your knee too? That's my new God."
I got 8 dudes praying for my knee.
What the fuck is going on here?
So I was thinking, man, this is gonna be really awkward because when he's done praying, as a grown man, he stands up. I'm gonna have to lie to him, and be like, "Oh, it feels great," and then I'm gonna have to try to walk normal because I don't know. And so many times, I'm looking out from the bus, I'm like, "Oh, all right."
Knees clicking as he walking away.
But I do feel like something weird happening on my knee, right? Like I don't know where to explain it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a weird feeling." And I was like, whatever, okay. So he sends me, he goes, "All right, so, hey, man, move it around, see how it feels." And I was like, here we go. I'm about to freaking put on like an act, right? Mm-hmm. So I started moving around. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I started moving around again. I completely forgot about the dude because, I was in my own. I was like, wait, what's going on here? Because my knee didn't hurt anymore. And I was like, no,
it's crazy.
It feels.
You could Tootsie Roll again.
It feels, It feels.
Did it in front of me?
Tootsie Roll.
So then,
you have to have good knees to Tootsie Roll, by the way.
And he's like, "Well, jump around." I was like, "Well,
jump around."
Yeah. I was like, well, I don't want to go too crazy. I was like,
jump around.
You're 8-year-old boy. Jump around.
I land. I got a cricket leg.
Can
I cartwheel as well?
Dude, so I was like, nah. I was like, you know what? This is good. I don't want too much. He's like, hey, that's fine. I was like, all right. I was like, hey, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I walk across the street perfectly fine for the first time in 3 months. And I'm standing there at the bus stop and I'm freaking out in my head, dude. I'm like, what is going on? When I got home, I didn't even tell my girlfriend about it. I didn't say anything about it. I just went home and didn't say shit to her about my knee and what happened or anything.
Yeah.
And the next day she was like, hey, she's like, what's going on with your leg? It's better? And I was like, I have a crazy story.
You really put in work last night. I could tell your stroke was back.
And she's like, that's weird. And I was like, yeah. And then I got the same reaction from everyone that I've told the story. Whatever works. I'm like, but do you understand? Like,
For you, that was something really
big.
crazy.
I was in pain.
I think for anyone, it would at least throw a spidey sense.
Yeah,
maybe.
of course. You'd be-
I was in pain for 3 months. 3 months, I couldn't even bend my leg.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and
Maybe he did Reiki on you.
yeah, and this dude knocked it out. Let's say whatever happened.
Reiki. I know what Reiki
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
That's
You know
cool.
what Reiki is. Maybe he did that. He put hands like that, and that's exactly what
Yeah.
they do.
I don't know how to explain it. All I know is
He attuned your knee, dude. That's
here's the facts. The facts are he asked if he could pray for my knee. The man prayed for my knee, and I walked away.
He got down on his knees too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
man.
weird, man. And
If a dude gets down on his knees in the street for you,
yeah.
you should respect that.
Yeah, for sure you should.
So I go to work the next day, and then I don't say anything to anyone about it. Right? I'm just doing it, and everyone, my boss is like, "What's going on with you? You're just better. Yesterday you're just. Why are you walking like that?" I was like, I got a weird story. He's like, whatever works for you. I'm like, dude, it's not whatever works for me. It's what happened, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I wasn't seeking this man out and be like, could you pray for my knee?
I sought out this shaman in the
Dude,
park.
it's just one of those weird things that happen. And I was like,
dude.
I don't know anything anymore. I don't know what's
He's
going
like,
on.
you're gonna hand me a pamphlet.
But I
are
think
you?
even if you don't believe in anything, you still have those type of situations in your life where
Yeah,
you
of
go,
course.
I don't know how that was
that's
as
true.
perfect as it
That's
was.
true.
Right.
I had one of those this morning, and it was extremely simple. It's not even anything worth
Mentioning.
speaking about or mentioning, but it was so perfect timing
Right.
that I was like, what the fuck?
Well, it's-
how is that possible? That
It's crazy.
You know,
Well,
it was just the song that I needed to hear at that moment.
Right.
It encapsulated exactly how I was feeling in that moment.
Right.
But 100%. And that song just happened to be a random song that popped up. It was like on shuffle, and it was a
Right.
random song that popped up through Apple Music. I was
Yeah.
like, how?
Yeah,
Apple
man, I mean,
Music
it's-
reading my mind?
It's weird, man, because like maybe there is no magic in this world. Maybe it is cut and dry. You die, you turn to fucking dirt, and that's that. Or maybe not, man. You
I
know,
think
like,
there's
I don't
magic,
know,
but I think-
appreciate
I
whatever
think we created.
Well, the magic's just the word I'm giving it. You right? So it's like,
And not
it's-
just you, all of us. I think we all created, because maybe we all want to believe that there's some kind of magic in this world. I don't know. I do believe that to some degree humans have a little bit of dominion over how this world is operated and run. I mean, we're creating it.
Well, right.
Piece by piece, we're
Right.
creating it piece by piece. Sure, the Earth predates us and it's been here longer than us. But in terms of what we're seeing and the way that we're pushing this roller coaster around the curve,
yeah.
we're doing that. You know,
It's weird, man. I mean, but I don't know. When you become conscious of this thing and you start to see these things more often, you're like, I don't even know. Like, you can't talk about it because then you just think that it's just crazy talk. But you're just like, what is happening,
maybe
man?
nothing is crazy talk.
Well, it's crazy talk too.
We're on a
because it's
floating
beyond-
ball in the middle of space. It's wild shit out there.
Yeah. So, like, what is what, man? But I appreciate all the great things that come
Well,
our
dude,
way.
I'm happy
you
that
know?
guy prayed over your knee, dude. That's
Dude,
dope.
every time we
Next
go by
time-
that corner, I look at
Next
that
time
corner.
something bugs you, be like, "Hey, man, you mind
What?
blessing on this elbow? I didn't tap."
Yeah,
it."
boy, that's the thing. You know,
I'm broke as a motherfucker. I'm gonna need about $5 million.
Every time I pass by it, I'm like, there's the Pollo Loco in the corner where my knee was healed.
Fuck it, dude.
Can we make a hard left to this Predator movie?
Okay,
Please
did
tell
you
me
see
you
it?
saw that shit was
I
trash. I
didn't
couldn't
see
even
it.
get through the whole
Listen.
thing.
Really?
Oh my God. Ugh.
I didn't see it.
It wasn't there to be Predator 1.
Oh, my
It
God.
wasn't there to be Predator 1. It was only there to be entertaining. And that's
Really?
all I took it for. And I was like,
You
it was
like
okay.
that movie?
it was okay.
I didn't even get through the whole thing. I was like, I'm turning this shit
I
off.
went through the whole thing. I was like,
Turning it off.
I like yours. I turned it off because this fool is
all right,
still in theaters.
listen, there were points where if I
didn't
had
go to
control-
theater.
Dude,
I went to see that shit in theater. I'm black.
Dude, I went to theaters.
Bootleg the fuck out of that shit.
I went to see it in theaters just because.
Well, it makes sense that you would enjoy it. You paid for it, so
Yeah.
you had to enjoy it.
Yeah, we go to the movies like often, like as often as we can, and it was dope. They fucked up on the theater we were in, and they put us in the Dolby one. So like, we had
nice.
the crazy ass, fucking loud ass sound and shit. It was cool. And like,
You didn't think it was weird that when they captured the first Predator, and he just wakes up and he just starts going ape shit. It seemed a little.
I got to
odd.
see it. I have no idea.
The Predator is basically taking on the role of.
Just give it away.
He's like as fantastic as Arnold Schwarzenegger in the first flick. Like he's just jumping up and fucking shit up. Like yeah. Oh God, this is not good.
well, I liked it. I liked that he was like badass as fuck. He's like, dude, I'm a fighter. Like, cause that's their tribal thing. Like, those are the warriors of their tribe.
Right,
they send
right.
out, you know. And that dude was fucking those dudes up like they were nothing. That was dope.
Then they brought
Heads off with their fucking
Nice.
blades.
Then they had a huge one that was much bigger
Yeah,
than him.
And I think unnecessary for the fucking
on, man.
for the plot line. Like they had like these
Now they have like a
assassin
mega
ones.
predator,
Yeah.
a mega predator,
like twice as big. For
Did you say
some-
MAGA Predator?
mega? Yeah.
mega predator.
Same one. Fucking hat.
Got the hat on and everything.
No, it was good, dude. I thought just if you went at it as strictly like entertain me, I was like, okay, it was entertaining.
It had no relevance at all to the universe of the Predator
Did it even
universe.
have Danny Glover
I
in
hated
it
the
or
lead
no?
actor. I hated the lead actor too.
Ugh.
Right, dude? Did you like the lead actor? I thought he.
I didn't like the lead movie.
No, the lead actor, the
Yeah,
blonde
like
hair dude.
the movie.
Yeah, no, I didn't like anything about it at
I'm an
all.
assassin sniper from the military. And then, dude, they had predator dogs, and I was like, all right, I have to.
Whoa,
really
wait a
look-
minute.
I enjoyed the last one, Predators, more than I thought. The last one was excellent.
With wait, which was last
Where they were,
Adrian Brody?
with Adrian Brody. I actually liked that one.
Okay.
I just hold them all to the first one. And
I
the
just
first
like-
one was so
I just like-
fucking dope.
Seeing Predator
make that
cut
movie,
people's
dude.
heads off, man. I mean, fuck.
You know what?
the
You know what
can't
the new one did. It made me
Yeah,
actually.
Freaking jungles.
Yeah, dude. Holy
The cool thing
shit.
is that the new one made me actually go back and do a little bit of research as to where what's Arnold Schwarzenegger's character's name in the initial Predator.
In the first Predator.
Duff or some
Yeah,
weird
something
shit like
like
that.
that,
Some
yeah.
weird stuff.
Yeah.
But I wanted to find out what happened to him, and there's actually a backstory as to
see,
what.
that's what they need to make a movie.
Yeah,
on.
there's a backstory.
Yeah.
After he killed the Predator in the initial one,
Yeah.
I guess there was some kind of like radioactivity that was given off from him being in close proximity with the Predator that it started to give him health problems.
Okay.
So
Wait, what is this from?
no, this
Is that
is
when he
just
goes
the
to Mars?
backstory because there's a
Is
comic
that when he goes
book.
to Mars?
There's a backstory because there's like
From what though?
Total Recall.
This is from Predator
Okay,
because
but
it's a comic book, so there's actually a whole backstory
Okay, so it's-
outside of the movie.
So it's okay. So if it's from the Predator comic book,
It's from the Predator comic
that's
book,
dope.
but it
Okay.
follows the initial Predator.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
after the initial Predator, he has all of these health problems, which are
I'd be down to
they
read that.
they want to believe it's cancer, some kind of cancer, some kind of cancer which they can't exactly pinpoint. So he basically just goes into hiding, and nobody hears from him again. So that's what happens to
it sounds
his,
like an exciting comic book.
But
Just the pages are blank.
no. Well, here's the thing.
Standing in front of his house.
It gets taken over by he has a brother, and his brother is the Danny Glover, the character that he plays in the second film.
Yeah, the
that's
detective.
loosely based. It's supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger's character's brother. He's a New York cop.
A black New York cop?
No, but he's not black. Come on, man. I said loosely based.
Okay.
So in the comic book, that's his brother's storyline.
Okay.
And so his brother is basically fighting these predators to try to find information on his older brother, and it's not amazing, but
Okay.
it's pretty cool.
All right. Yeah, it was treated like the movie. I thought it was good for what it was. I mean, I don't go into those kind of movies expecting much, so maybe the low expectations knocked it out of the park for me.
Yeah.
You got something for us, Stevie?
Yeah.
What you looking at?
I'm trying to find this thing. People
right.
I started following, but dude, because they they post a lot of cool shit, but I was something to bring up.
What,
But
what did you mean when you said "Are young men in America scared"?
That was the headline in I think it was a BBC article that I read about just falling on the coattails of all the sexual allegations against Brett Kavanaugh, Justice, soon to be Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
you guys saw
I'm cynical. I'm sorry. I don't.
It's probably never been as prevalent in human history to make sure you get consent before sexual activity, any type of sexual activity.
Any kind, yes. Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
You probably have to ask a woman now if you can tell her she looks good today.
Yeah, like
is it okay if I compliment you on that dress?
Ugh, that's gonna be whack.
Your ass looking real fat in that dress.
I mean, I don't know if I don't think I ever dropped that on a lady, but anyways, it was just saying like, are young men in America scared because like they feel like they're walking on eggshells and at any moment they can get falsely accused of something, or
that's
are
crazy.
you conversely? Is that just saying like you don't expect much out of your young men in America?
Yeah, I just read a piece on Trump where he was speaking about the Me Too movement, and of course he was speaking against women and saying that there's a lot of. He was saying there was like a gap of 2 to 10% of all sexual harassment claims are false, and I was like, that's not that. It's not that large.
Is it? I don't know.
2 to 10%. I don't know. Well, aren't we? Is it out of 100? I mean, I know that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, any man who is, who is possibly convicted of any type of sexual activity that he didn't, that he didn't engage in, that's tough. But I mean, 2 to 10% isn't as like wide ranging as I thought it would have been. If they would have said 30%, I would have been like, holy shit.
Did you hear him fucking shit talk that reporter?
No.
Female reporter? Mm-hmm. Yeah, God, he doesn't give a fuck, dude. The reporter was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking." He's like, "Yeah, you weren't thinking. You never do." She was like,
"Whoa,
what? No,
holy shit."
Yeah, he said, "You never do." He's like, "Yeah, well, you don't know." He just went on as if he never said it.
He went all Sean Connery.
He didn't give a shit, dude.
He's about to take that.
Rude ass fucking dude. Like, I can't believe this guy's president.
You guys saw the I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, but the thing I sent you on where it's Pulp Fiction mashup, right?
Yeah, dude, that thing made it on the news.
Hilarious.
Yeah. They really love that. The Brett Kavanaugh thing where the Pulp Fiction mashup.
I didn't see it.
I said, dude, it's hilarious. Dude.
When did you send it?
Good,
Through Instagram?
Instagram, yeah. Oh, man. That shit is good.
Yeah, it was funny, dude. The Brett Kavanaugh, what's it called? Matt Damon shit was pretty fucking hilarious.
I haven't even seen that one.
Yeah, this kid was fucking great. Anyways, so it was just saying, are young men scared? I don't know. Should young men be scared or...
what about?
Yes.
I mean,
why though? If you're raised with the correct morals, what should you be scared of?
Well, you should probably be scared because there's been women in this Me Too movement who it hasn't been confirmed that these things actually happen to these women.
Yeah,
they can just say.
And then
that's
kind of
the Aziz Ansari situation.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
That was tough for him. He still hasn't fully rebounded from that situation. And when you look at all of the actual variables in the situation and what actually happened, he just misread, cues. He didn't sexually. I mean, he didn't do anything. He wasn't a deviant with this woman. He didn't do anything that would land him in jail. Or that he would be convicted of. Yeah. He was just a nigga who didn't understand she didn't want to fuck.
Look, I mean, it's a man courting a woman, really. Yeah. You know what I mean? He didn't grab her tits. He didn't do anything like that, right? So obviously something threw her off to where she felt uncomfortable, and that's fine. But I think so there's two adults, right? I think it's a responsibility of both parties to be like, I feel uncomfortable. Right?
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable. And if you're on a date with a guy who scares you enough to where you can't say that to him, you shouldn't be on a date with him.
Yeah, probably not.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you should be able to say, and this is not a fault to anybody.
So
I'm just saying.
You're victim blaming. No,
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, someone should say something, right? Because you got a guy who thinks that he's got a woman that's really into him.
Not all women are going to speak.
But why blast him in the media? Why not just say
it to him?
You know what?
I don't know.
I'm not feeling this. You're not the person.
He's not
that I thought you were.
Man, I don't
that
feel.
you were. You're not the person I thought you were. And
if you find him threatening, you're probably a female.
I don't think she found him threatening. I think she just found him probably not sexually attractive.
Okay,
when it came down to
because
it.
that is the thing, right? The difference.
I didn't say
that beautiful Indian man's face.
No. Obviously, she found him attractive, but being attracted to a person and being sexually attracted to a person, two be different things. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
That's the thing, though. That's the difference, right, between sexual harassment and second date, right? Is if you're attractive. Yeah. So if you're attractive enough, or she finds you attractive, I should say, that's a second date. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, if you're not, maybe you're not a good-looking man and she's not feeling you, but you're still kind of persistent, then guess what? You're on the hashtag.
But the fucked up thing is, even if you're not a good-looking man, but you have other things about your personality that she may be attracted to, you could get away with shit still.
That's the beautiful thing about women.
It's a slippery slope. You just never know.
That's the beautiful thing about women, though. Women can like a man for more than just his looks. We're like, guys, we're creeps, right? We're purely aesthetic in the very beginning, right? You know, it's like, she's got like one lazy eye and she's missing 4 teeth and her arm doesn't work that well.
But her body is impeccable.
But she's nice. You know, like, men don't usually work that way, so that's the beautiful thing about women.
If she's nice and she has a dope body, then we'll let it slide.
Yeah, they'll work with it. You'll work with it.
But as you said, it has to be something aesthetically pleasing. It has to be something of sexual nature.
Especially for men. Especially for men. I mean, we are aesthetic creatures, right? We automatically, for some reason, are feeling a woman you haven't even talked to yet, and she's across the hall. You're like, yeah, I like her. You know what I mean? Not that you like her, but I'm feeling that. I want to, We're like, women will be like, oh, he's a good-looking man, but they're not tripping like guys are, you know? So, like, they might be happy to talk to you, and then, like, 5 minutes later, be like, nah.
That gets you through the door, but you can fuck it up.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Real quick.
With a man, you can't really fuck it up. As long as a woman is beautiful, a man will tolerate almost anything she
for a good amount of time. For a good amount of time.
Almost anything she brings to the table. All right.
And by a good amount of time,
for a good amount of time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Like
for a long
decades
time.
and decades.
Yeah, but women, you could be the you could be the sexiest dude alive. If you could do something that you don't even know you're doing, she'd be like, yeah, I'm just not feeling that dude.
Right.
You'd be like, what?
No, it's like you see like there's like these rich fucking like old dudes with these young broads it's.
I think it's.
I mean, everyone knows what it is. They know what it is. He's like, I'll take the L on that because I'm still touching it, right?
He's old as fucking ugly and shit. She's like, I guess every once in a while.
I think it's worth more to present women with security as a man than it is to be like sexy. I think if you can,
in the long run,
I think in general, if you come into whatever relationship and you say, I have the security locked down. We can do whatever we want to do. I'm making sure that, because, I say women are nesters. They want to make sure first that they feel comfortable. Once you get a woman comfortable, sky's the limit. And I think that's in any situation. If you can get a woman in a comfortable situation, and that's largely what most men are trained to do. Most men who seek out guys teaching them how to speak to women, those guys always say first, you need to get comfortable with speaking to women so that you don't freak them out. So they feel as comfortable as possible. Right. Once they're in a comfortable state, you're good. You know?
But it's a complicated thing, I guess. I mean, it's simple, but obviously, the obvious thing is, which a lot of dudes get wrong, is like you talk to them because they're a person, right? They're a person, and when I went to fashion school, when I went to school and do fashion design, I thought I was going to be cleaning up, and I fucking did not clean up, which I really thought I was. But like, what
do you mean by cleaning up?
Like I was going to go in there smashing.
Oh, you're going to be smashing.
Yeah. But, and like I was fairly confident about that. Not because
fish in a barrel.
Yeah. But then it's weird. You get the few that are like, yeah, this is the deal, and then more than that, when you're going to school with 100 women, like a lot of them become like sister-like figures to you. You know what? I didn't even know how to be friends with a woman until I was kind of there in the environment to be friends with women. Yeah. I thought I did. I was like, oh yeah, we're friends, and then. Call it growing up or whatever, or just, I was just like, whoa, I actually didn't know how to be friends with a woman. Yeah. And now I do. It's strange. So, like, and the shit that I would hear from these girls, like, I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Like I learned that a woman could really like a guy, even if he's not a good-looking dude, because he has pretty eyes. I was like, what? I was like,
That's it.
You didn't know that though?
at the time
Women-
I did not. At the
Women
time I
have
did
always
not.
been like that.
Yeah.
How do you
Biggie
think
Smalls?
comics pull?
But that's what I'm saying,
pull chicks like, yeah.
But
Biggie Smalls,
but that's what I'm
beautiful
saying.
eyes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he was fucking mad charismatic. If you're charismatic, you
That's
can, you
another
can cut
one,
through.
right?
You can cut the line.
But back then I didn't know that, you know, and then getting all this information allowed me to learn how to talk to women on a different level. I always know how to talk to women, but this was a different way of going about it, and it wasn't purely for smashing, right? It just like that would be like a result of like talking to them and being cool with them. Like it was a weird thing, you know, and like
Taught
it
you how
sounds.
to be a woman.
Yeah, it really got me in touch with my feminine
But then
side.
also, you around them all the time.
Yeah,
I have
mean,
this-
aside from them, I'm saying, let's say like now I'm not around them at all. Like my perspective is shifted, you know, to something else where I was like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like this is how I'm gonna start approaching. Like I'm a guy. I wanna talk to women. I wanna date that woman over there.
Yeah.
I have a better way of doing it now. You know what I mean? Like when Ruth and I first started dating. Like I'm talking like the first couple of weeks, I saw a woman that I was interested in. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to her. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I would have to stop myself and be like, whoa, that's not how things are done now.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing it for 7 years. So like all of a sudden I hit the brakes and I was like, whoa, okay. But it's, you know, and then I'm like, yeah, that has to be worked out of my system now because I can't, I can't do that anymore. And I was fine with it, obviously, but it was an interesting thing to grow up like in that way, you know. So
I think I just meant that you were around them so much that I have this idea that even if a woman is interested in you, the more time you spend around her without consummating that interest, for lack of better, it starts to decrease. It's like a little power bar. Beep,
Yeah,
beep,
yeah,
beep,
yeah,
beep. And then once it gets to a certain point, you just either become really good friends or
That makes
nothing.
sense.
Nothing evolves beyond
Right.
it. But even if a woman really, really, really likes you, you only have a certain amount of time to capitalize on that situation
Right.
before you just become, okay, this is a person that I am in this space with all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and then
that makes sense too because they're not like dudes. Dudes are always like one
It's
day.
like if you have like a female roommate or something.
Right, exactly.
yeah, like
But it's
you may be like, wow, they're really dope, and maybe you guys smash at a certain point. But if you never do, there's not going to be just insane sexual tension forever.
It's true.
They'll be like, oh, okay,
Because dudes will wait in a
Yeah.
dark hole and they'll wait for you to come by like freaking like Pennywise or whatever and wait for you to snatch those ankles. As soon as you give them the opportunity, they'll wait years. You know, they'll be that friend, right? And then finally, you know, like women won't do that shit.
Yeah, eventually,
Women will-
you'll
like,
you'll be
it'll be
friend
some-
zoned,
Yeah.
and you could be the flyest dude ever. But a woman will friend zone you if she's around you enough, and it hasn't happened yet. What's she gonna do? Wait for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not. They're smarter than us. We're just dumb.
What's that?
I said they're not dummies like us. We just sit
No.
around waiting.
No, fuck no.
Guys are dumb.
Yeah. All right, it's 9:47. We still got a bunch of time.
No, we still got a bunch
Nice.
of shit. What we gonna talk about? I'm probably gonna edit this shit
You know
out.
what's funny? I was at this baby shower and there was a guy there. He was like a best man or whatever.
Okay.
I think he was like a friend of the groom, anyways. Friend of the groom, and he was like the best friend of that dude, and like saying, "Oh yeah, I remember you at the wedding and such and such." I was like, "Oh yeah, what's up, man?" And like he was a cool dude, but like all of a sudden like he sparked up like a stogie, and like the ladies, like the bride of his best friend is like pregnant. He's like smoking, and I was like, "Hey man, you probably shouldn't be smoking." I made him feel all bad about it, and my brother was like, "Damn, what did you say?" I was like, "Hey man, like come on, they have a pregnant lady around here. We're at a park. There's like kids around.
Right.
Like, I get it, the hey Mazel Tov, like smoke a stove thing, but
For sure.
I don't know. I was like, usually I wouldn't speak up for some shit like that, but I guess my baby's there.
I've realized you've been much more vocal about your dislikes in your older age, or just not putting up with bullshit.
No, a little of both. You're right.
Yeah, I've noticed. You know, if we go to, even to get something to eat, if something isn't satisfactory, I know P will be like, yeah, nah, Fix that shit again. Or can we get service over here? You'll be the first one. Hey, we're here.
That's why, like, we're a little bit opposite. Like, Trey will he wants to be like the nicest black dude.
Well,
I want to put a good face to black people.
I'm trying to present the opposite of what people think.
Put like a fucking Band-Aid on his pizza. Be like, oh man, I'll eat it.
I'll eat around it. I'll eat around it. It's okay.
I've always been, but that actually comes from like winding this around full circle to speaking about parents. That comes from growing up around my mother.
Okay.
My mother is no nonsense. Any little thing incorrect, it gets pointed out. So for me, I've always wanted to steer left of that way of dealing with things. So that means I take a lot of shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it depends on my mood, I guess. So there's times where I'm like, nah, fuck that. I go, you're going to give me new fries because you gave me shitty fries. And there's times where I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm just going to eat these bitches. I'll put a lot of ketchup on there.
Dude, I encounter that the most just going on about my day, frequent, like patroning, like, Target or, I don't know, fucking Wingstop or wherever the fuck, Costco, Home Depot. And that's not those places in particular, but like getting customer service to places, people don't give a fuck, dude. They're just like, I'm like, how did you get hired here? You're like, you have a bad attitude. Last person at the Starbucks drive-thru, I just asked her a simple question. I was like, can I get like a carrier? She didn't even say a goddamn thing. She just like, here. I was like, okay. Sorry.
I used to work for Starbucks, so I can't even.
I did too. I don't like that shit, dude. I don't know. It's fucked up.
You were better. You're a lot better when we worked at Starbucks. You were a lot better at the customer service aspect. I'm the worker. I put my head down and work.
Let's put it that way. I can do both. I can sit there and you can put me on bar. I can knock that shit out. But Trey did bar most of the time.
You will use pacing statements and have conversations with people. But the cool thing is it's not robotic with you, No. And that's something that I've always liked to. I've hated when you see like your other coworkers and they're using this really robotic, inorganic way of speaking to people. Hey, Mr. Williams, what will you be having today? Ha. You like extra caramel on your caramel macchiato. I used to like, oh, God.
Yeah, speaking of which, so I think in China, they have a robot doing coffee now. Like the orders like a barista.
They don't even need a robot. They don't. They just need a big fucking vending machine. Yeah. Where you type your shit in quick.
Right.
Pay for it, and that cup comes down and it makes you the damn latte.
Yeah. The same every time.
Yeah, the same every time.
Yeah.
They don't even need a robot.
Well,
it's all novelty shit.
I'm guessing the only reason corporations like Starbucks even employ employees is for the customer service aspect.
I more often than not get shitty service at Starbucks, like shitty employees.
Well, they don't know that.
They didn't have to learn about like the legendary service and all that shit. Where like you have to be like friendly with people. People, they don't care at all. They're just like, what do you want?
Sometimes you don't even have to be friendly. You just have to give a fuck enough that comes across to the customers, and the customers go. Because I'm not a speaker. I'm not a small talk guy. But I developed a lot of relationships with customers when I worked for Starbucks because I didn't want to be a total fuck up. So you want to make the drinks as best as you possibly can. Yep. And just even that, I don't have to speak to a person. They understand that once they receive a beverage that's to their liking, okay, he actually gives a fuck about me. Yeah. He doesn't have to overtly say it, but I know he gives a shit because he's putting his all into, making my drink. And then the next time they'll call you by name. Hey, is Trey here? He makes my drink exactly like I want it. And then it's easier for somebody like me who isn't a social being by nature to develop relationships, with people.
Yeah. By the way, dude, that's like when someone makes your drink dope and you compliment them and you go out of your way to tell them,
sick.
You feel fucking dope.
It was the shit. It was the shit. That's what you did
about that shit. And this goes beyond that. Yeah. If you're down to make a coffee right, you're down to fucking do your job right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, we used to battle. We used to talk shit about that.
Yeah.
You know everybody want me to make their shit. You used to say that all the time.
Dude, I had a time where I remember we were getting complaints because like we were making caramel.
We was killing those caramel macchiatos on one corner of the city, so we were fucking it up for everybody else.
Yeah. Dude, we ordered so much caramel. We'd order, what was it, like 2 or 3 times?
Ridiculous, man.
The normal amount of caramel, and because people wanted, like, oh, you want extra caramel?
PJ worked with me at 2 totally different locations.
Yeah.
One in a really good part of the city, which is or LA County, which is Torrance, and then one right in the middle with Hawthorne.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
In Hawthorne, we used to go in on the caramel, bro, and people would only come there for their drinks, and we started fucking it up for all of the neighboring locations because they would go to the neighboring locations,
recipe,
and they would
be drink.
They'd be like, "This shit is trash." They'd be like, "Your caramel macchiato here is trash."
Yeah.
We love how they make them over in Hawthorne.
Oh, dude, we were killing people, dude.
Nice.
So much caramel. Dude. We cut the tips off like extra large so more caramel could get squeezed out of the bottle, dude.
We fucked up the recipe so much that corporate had to mandate, they had to make sure that we made them buy recipe. Because they'd be like, you guys are fucking it up for everybody else, and nobody else can get money around here. Because you guys have cornered the coffee market.
You single-handedly also handed out the most diabetes.
So like,
Black folks are going to get it whether we did it or not.
I just want those ladies to be happy. But yeah, no, that's hilarious that we got to work together for a while.
Wow.
Steve, if you threw you in the pot, it was like when we had Dom. Like that was fun for a while.
Yeah, for a minute it was me, you, and Dom hanging out. Yeah. There was so many good times. Me, you, Dom, and Jaime. You hated Jaime, but you're still there.
He was interviewing this young kid outside, like, and he just stops the interview and gets up, like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, like walking up to him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I was cool with Dom for a while, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm trying to get a job here." He's like, "Dude, just come in, fill out this stuff, and you're hired." They're like, "What the fuck?" So that's kind of a funny story about that.
Yeah, because I introduced you to Dom, didn't I?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, because and the thing is, I don't know about now. Like Starbucks actually has made it a mission to hire people, to actually have hiring fairs and hire people. But when I was in the Starbucks situation, it was all about friends and family. You know, when I was employed by them, it was friends and family. If you were a friend, you had a job forever, because as long as I worked there, I just put the word out. Yeah. And, 2 weeks from now, you had a fucking apron, and you were ready to go. And not only did you have an apron, but because you were friends and family, you would automatically get like at least 25 hours, and you're eating into, people's hours who had already been there before you. Yeah, it's real fucked up thing. I mean, PJ was the only reason I even ever got a chance at Starbucks, because Starbucks initially, they denied me. PJ started working for Starbucks, and we both they had a hiring fair, and I remember thinking that I killed it. And I remember even you thinking, like, yo, Trey, you killed it, dude. You're definitely going to get it. Womp, womp. P gets it, and I didn't get it.
I'm a charmer. What do you want?
And then I remember we started Brooks. That's when I started doing AmeriCorps. I did AmeriCorps, and then we went to Brooks. I was out of AmeriCorps, and I was like, dude, I need a job. And you still have people in the system, and you're like, I'll hook you up straight in. No, cut that out. Cut that out.
No.
Wait a minute.
So yeah, hey, we're at 10 right now.
First, I had sex
10
with
already. Yeah, I guess it is. Huh?
Just name all the goals.
Goals for the week. Anybody?
Do work.
Goals for the week.
Do some fucking work.
I mean, we're Wednesday.
I want to
already.
start designing again. I haven't been designing.
Yeah.
PJ has me so nervous now.
No, shit.
Just do it.
I secretly don't want you to succeed. No. Trey is fucking ill, dude. If he ever put up his work on a status, it would suck, because I work my ass off, and I think I work like crazy right now to do this shit. And Trey will put up like something I did real quick, whipped this up last night. I'm like, God damn, like, that's good work. You would blow up, and it would be fucked up. Like, damn, I worked a lot. I suck. I never made anything out of myself.
This cat is being modest as a motherfucker. He is head and shoulders the guy right now. I'm looking at his stuff, and I'm saying, well, those are decisions I would never make. And I always say that if a person is making decisions on the design level that I wouldn't think of, that's when I view them as being either comparable or better than me. And PJ makes a lot of decisions on a design level that I would never even think to make. I'm like, motherfucker, how did he come up with that shit? Like, where was his head? I'd like to try to find out where people's heads are when they make decisions, in their design scheme. So I think I'm gonna start, man, because you're getting me. I'm feeling a little bad about the situation.
I don't have a lot of time right now to compete with you, just to be fair. So.
Well, perfect. Let me get in while you're incapacitated.
I think the most important thing is just finding that peace again, right? That when you're working and you realize that you're in the space and doing something you want to do, like for me, I always procrastinated on things because I felt obligated and forgetting that, this is what I love to do. Like I feel obligated until I'm sitting down and I'm doing it. I'm like, and I find myself in the mode, and I'm like, oh wait a minute, I forgot. I just actually like doing this. I would do this and not get paid.
I hate the build up to it. I don't know
the build up to it sucks.
I fucking hate the build up to it.
But that's I'm trying to set up like a more of a routine for myself, right? So like we all have these routines. So I'm trying to manufacture a routine for myself where I'm like I sit down. And I'm not to be bothered by anybody, put my headphones in, and I just start going, right? It's like writing. When we used to write papers, like, you never knew what the hell you're writing, at least me, and I just start writing, like, and it'd be all nonsense, and all of a sudden the picture become clear, and then I'm like, oh, here we go, this is where we're at. So I just start writing, boom, 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 or designing. I'm like, wait a minute, this is all kind of coming together.
When you write, is that how you flesh out ideas? You just keep writing?
Yeah.
I find that I write much differently now in my older age than I did when I was younger. I used to attack it that way. Now I write like Eminem on 8 Mile. I'll write little pieces of ideas on random pieces of paper, especially if I'm doing work for a class. I'll write these ideas as they come to me on little pieces of paper, and they'll be scattered. And then I'll take those pieces and I'll take like the best parts of those paragraphs, of those chunks, and I'll start to format them into something that's cohesive and coherent, and a little bit less frenzied, you know. But I never would write like that when I was younger. I would just attack it head on. So I actually end up doing more work, but for me, it works a little better because I'm not trying to hold on to ideas. Because sometimes you might have a brilliant idea when you're not even in the vicinity of tools used for writing. I might not have a pen on me. So I'll do that shit like fucking, I don't know, like Jay-Z on a Marcy corner in 99. Like I'll just store that shit in my head and write it down as soon as I get to a place where I can write.
You have to. I think that's where your ideas are the best, because like your head's not in that space, right? So then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like your inspiration comes in, right? It's pulled from the ether or whatever. Things come together. You're like, oh shit, let me write that down really quick. And then comes discipline, right? So you got to have the discipline to sit down and start fleshing it out, instead of saying, I'll get to it. And I'm just trying to do all these things to get better at not procrastinating, and which a lot of people have, and I don't want to be one of them anymore, so. But
I'm pretty sure Pete can attest to this, is that you touched on it, that Zen level creation space, when it's not even about thinking about doing something. I know P actually is a little better about planning things out. When I speak to P about designing something, he's always saying, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm in the process of doing X, Y, and Z, and this is what I want the completed product to look like, or this is the energy I wanted to give off. As weird as it sounds, I never do anything. I'm never able to complete anything with that mindset.
Okay.
Everything that I've ever done is just like when I make beats. It's all a process of discovery. I go in with the blank canvas and I start putting things on the canvas.
Right.
And then whatever type of scheme that pops up from that process of discovery, I just follow that scheme.
Right.
I just go down that rabbit hole.
You'd be happy with my last piece that I did. I did like probably hundreds of shapes all on one layer. Like just hundreds, no planning at all. I just drew it as I went. and it's a nightmare if I were to ever try and find like the fucking space where they are. No, I went completely against what I normally do. Just fucking went willy-nilly on it, and I don't know, I created that last thing.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I've actually
That's my goal for the week, by the way. Finish that shit.
Finish that.
Okay.
Sitting on that goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I've really respected about you is that you can plan something out. You know, that's a huge disservice to me, and that's probably why I don't have a lot of things in like totality on the web, or I have a hard time putting together a cohesive portfolio, because for me, I'm like from the Mad Lib school of creation. Create a shit ton of things and they just lie where they lie. You know, I'm not very good at choreographing those things or structuring those things so that they make sense as a total product or package.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I'm trying to get better at saying, basically, it's kind of vague, right? But at the end of this week, I'm at 3 designs done, and I'll say it'll be this, this, and this. And I have no idea what they are just yet, but I know that by this time I have to hold myself accountable and like to do it. Because honestly, the feeling I get when I do accomplish that is it's awesome, you know? Because I'm the best at selling myself on my own bullshit. Like, I'll get to it. And then, like, I don't know, 6 months pass by and I haven't done shit. And I'm like, okay, so when am I going to grow up in that sense? When am I going to be like, okay, how are you going to lie to yourself? Like, sometimes that's all you have.
Yeah.
And you're betraying yourself in that sense where you're like, you can't rely on yourself? Holy shit. Then no one can rely on you. You know, I'm like, oh, okay, it starts to get deep in my mind.
Man. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's like, so I'm like, okay, let me figure myself out, make myself better so I can be better for others, right? So I'm like, all right, it's time to grow up. You know, like in that sense, I'm like, I don't want to be in this headspace anymore. I want to be the husband, I want to be a father, and I want to be a business owner, and I want people to be able to rely on me, and me only have to say it once. I only have to say it once and then be like, yeah, Steve will do it. He said he'd do it, so it will get done. I want to be that man. So, you know, it's like just like self-schooling and self-discipline right now, and really focusing. I know
we have to get out of here soon, but I have one last question. Do either of you two, have you ever given yourself, like, how do I explain this? Giving yourself a goal based on how you understand yourself to work, like. And here's what I'm saying is that I remember when I was in Otis, me and PJ had a teacher in Christian Monger, and he taught me that sometimes you have to understand how you work.
Right.
You know, the times that are most optimal for you, the situations that are most optimal for you, what you really can view yourself putting out, you know, in terms of output.
Right.
And you have to go, okay, well, these are my limitations. These are things that I don't do well, or these are times where I don't work well. So I know that I'm naturally a procrastinator, and I'll push myself up against the wall. So rather than procrastinate and allow myself to put myself in a position where I may not finish that project, that's one of the reasons why I incrementally take off little bite-sized chunks from the proverbial burger or whatever. I'll take little individual pieces because I know what I'm going to do, and I know my natural aversion, I know my natural inclination to procrastinate.
Right.
So since I know that's who I am, and it's probably going to be harder for me to divert away from that natural way of thinking, you know, or doing, then how do I combat it? Well, you know,
I now believe that. Okay, well, I recently heard that, and I kind of believe this. Procrastination is just a form of stress. You procrastinate because you don't have the answer yet. You procrastinate because, like, oh man, it's gonna take a little bit of brain power to really make this. I have to sit down and I have to really make this happen now. I don't feel like doing that right now. And it's a form of stress. You're stressing because you can't really.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
That sounds exactly.
So it's like, okay, so now you do that so many times, it becomes a habit, right? And it becomes your crutch where you're like, no. And so it's just like me saying, I'll say to myself like, hey, I'm designing this whole new collection. And deep down inside of you, your subconscious, it satisfies something, like as if you've already fucking done it. If you've already did it.
That's a trip, yes.
So I have now taken myself back and said, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. Since I know that I'll do something like that, maybe I don't say anything till it's already well on its way. You know, and then it comes down to self-discipline of like, okay, what times do I have to do this? I have, with my training schedule, how much, and that's my choice, late at night or early in the morning. How bad do I really want to do this? Do I want to just be the 9-to-5 guy, and there's nothing wrong with that, and married, have kids, blah, blah. I don't want that. I've never wanted that. I'm where I'm at right now because like I was in a bad position and I got cozy. I was like, this is nice, this is security. And now I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is actually not what I want.
With jobs that you don't have present a steady paycheck, you
get the golden handcuffs, right? That's what they're called. So it's like, so now I firmly believe that like these are the sort of things where like these are like in a video game, right? You get to pick your characteristics. You got the P90, right, with rapid fire, you know, and you got like whatever else, right? But it's really hard to change that because it becomes ingrained in your subconscious. It relies on that. This is all my shit. I'm guessing.
No, but
right?
I'm saying, and
so it's like
that flows into what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know,
so,
when you realize these things are ingrained in my subconscious, sometimes people will beat themselves up for that, for that deficiency. But I try to divert away from beating myself up because if I'm already deficient in an area and it's stopping me from progressing, the more I beat myself up about that deficiency, the less, for me personally, the less productive I am because then it's an added stressor.
Right.
Now I'm thinking about how fucked up I am. Yeah. So I just try to police myself based off knowing, for lack of a better wording, how fucked up I am. Okay, I'm fucked up in these areas, so let's find a way to get away, like at least just skirt.
Well, I would say the first thing that's my unprofessional opinion is that you realize that. The people who don't realize that are like, no, what are you talking about? I'm good. Like they're lost.
Yeah.
But so then you're at the door. You're at the doorway right now where you're like, I could change this and it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be pissed off and it's gonna be uncomfortable and it's gonna hurt. But those are called growing pains, right? And I'll come out of this. So I said I'm gonna get up at 4 a.m. when everyone's asleep.
When did you start this?
I'm just starting this. I started like last week. And I've done it twice.
I want to change, but not like that.
Right.
Do this hard. That's fucking
right.
hard.
So I've done it. I've done it twice, right? And I'm hoping that as time goes on, I can do it more frequent. Maybe it goes from 2 times, now it goes to 4 times. Then it goes to every day, even into the weekends. Because I think what's really dope, which I did one day on the weekend, is I did the same thing. So I've done it 3 times. I went and got coffee, got myself something to eat, came home, designed, listened to music. Ruth got up a couple hours later. And I felt accomplished before the day even started. And it was a weird feeling, but awesome at the same time. I said, hey, what if I can actually do this
seriously? Yeah.
Almost every day? You know, what if I could just say, how far would I go? Like, how much more could I accomplish if I just tackle a couple hours every day? Yeah. And then those hours accumulate, just like when you're training in jiu-jitsu or, MMA or something like that. I look back now, I've been training for almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me. I still feel like I just started. But my skills show the work I'm putting in. Yeah. But I'm also obsessed with it, with like a lot of other people, and I'm trying to get obsessed with this process, and I want this to happen. I have no idea. I'm like, it's an experiment. I'm looking at it as an experiment, and one thing I've really come to help me, because I'm really hard on myself, is the idea of like failure. When I was a kid, I would do my homework, and I wouldn't even turn it in. Like, I'm talking like, I don't know, 1st, 2nd grade, because I didn't want to get a bad grade or I thought I'd fail. And my mom would find it in my backpack and turn it in for me, and I would get an A or B. And the whole time I didn't turn it in because I was scared, that I was getting an F. But then I was like, okay, so now the way I view failure, especially with like jiu-jitsu, and I hate to keep bringing it back to that, but it's something that I'm very involved with, is like, I don't actually fail. I just learn. Every time I get tapped or something doesn't go off right, I download it. I do it again. Damn, that didn't work. What if I do this? That didn't work. And basically, I'm like trying things and not working. And finally, dude, I'm unstoppable. So that dude's not getting me in that submission anymore, or I'm tapping people with that submission like crazy. Now I could rename it and say, hey, I failed all those times. Those all failures. And it feels like shit even just saying that. But really it was just like, maybe if I move it to the left just a little bit, like I'm troubleshooting and I'm downloading, troubleshooting, and then next thing you know, dude, you can't touch me in that area. And I'm like, holy shit, holy God. You know, like, and so I'm so hard on myself, it leads into procrastination and the stress. And
See, I swear to God, every fucking thing you're saying is like exactly how I feel.
Yeah,
exactly. How
and
I feel.
And I feel like we're all in this space, and we're all at that hard point where you either shit or get out the pot sort of situation. I'm fucking kicking the door down. Is what I decided. Right? I'm going in, and I'm gonna take on those failures and those pains and everything else, and just see what happens. Yeah. Fuck, man, I got nothing to lose. I don't want to wake up when I'm 50 and be like, I gotta go work. Like, don't get me wrong. You're never gonna work. You don't want to fucking work every single day. But at least when I'm there, I can be like, you know what? We're working on a fucking dope project. This is nice. I didn't want to get up, but I'm up now because shit's moving and I like it. I like what's happening. So that's why I just keep telling myself these things. And then when I wake up in the morning, I try to like think about what am I going to accomplish today? Even though I'm in this place where I can't really be productive towards my goals, my mind can be there though, so that at some point, if I visualize it enough, I can execute it better. Like just like in jiu-jitsu, you see something on the phone, or I'm sorry, on the internet. Yeah. I visualize it. I feel it in my head. And I swear to God, I'll pull it off at least once on somebody, like as if I knew what I was doing the whole time. So I was like, why don't I just apply that to everything else? You know, like, why not? You know, and that's where I'm at right now, man.
Nice,
like,
man.
so.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. Dude.
Well said. That getting comfortable with failure is huge, actually. That's something I've talked to P about. In my head, I've given it a name, which is learn to fail gracefully.
Right.
That's been in my head. And I've realized that in my existence as a human being, I've largely been running away from failure at all costs because I know how that feels. Right. And for me, it's hard to say, well, okay, you put up as much as you could on that board, and it just didn't work out. And being fine with that and moving forward. I still personally have a problem with that. Right. And that's not a good thing to have a problem with, because it'll stop your growth. If you're only worried about failing, then you don't want to put anything out that you may believe not to be the holy grail, you know, and everything doesn't have to be perfect, all fucking sevens. You know, sometimes you can just put things out and see what they do. And sometimes they're winners and sometimes they're not so much, you know. But being comfortable, I'm trying to find out how to be totally comfortable with either end of the spectrum, whether I receive the utmost praise or I don't receive the praise, which I thought that I was, needed. You know?
Yeah.
Last words. That's it.
Hey, do what you want to do, but do it, for the passion and fail a lot, because I don't know, it's just fail a lot, because within all that, you're going to come out on top, because at least, failing a lot feels a whole lot better than never, ever doing it at all.
Or should we just say try a lot? You don't have to fail a lot, but try a lot. And if you try enough, there will be failures within,
Yeah, that's true. That's a better way of saying it. Try a lot and then get your failures out of the way, knock them out quick, right? Gracefully, but also quickly, so that that's not the right way, and then do the other thing, shift it to the left a little bit, and maybe that works. Yeah. But I mean, that's just me. But all love, and thank you for listening to another podcast and rants and craziness.
Shout out to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Monger. Love you guys.
Christian Monger too.
Peace.